What's up, Cam?
Oh man, a lot, not a lot, somewhere in the middle. Just life. Mitch, how are you?
I'm doing well. We got our first snowfall of the year.
Amen. Hallelujah. Praise Jesus.
Yeah. So, I was going to send you the pictures that I took a picture this morning that I was going to share with you. So I should send that to you. But we didn't get a lot of snow last night, just a little bit, but just enough to.
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not.
What's that?
You're saying we didn't get a lot of snow, just a little bit. I can't tell if you're being sarcastic. You actually got a lot.
No, I just sent you the picture. It's
Rating.
it's our
Rating.
it's a little garden that we have on the side of the house with a name stone, and then you can see the snow around it, so you can see kind of how much snow we got.
Yeah.
But it was one of those snowfalls where it started about like 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, but it started as like a light sleet, and then it went to rain for hours after that. So it just rained and rained and rained, and
Yeah.
and then we got this really heavy sleet that, like, when you walked outside and it stung when it hit you. It was not fun. I mean, almost hail like.
Yeah.
But then when I got out of work last night at 9 o'clock, it was about 34 degrees outside. So, you're just close to cold enough that if you get the right wind,
Yeah.
you can get freezing. So, for those of you who don't live in the northern part of the United States or don't deal with snow, this is a thing. Like, it's actually more dangerous if it's that around that temperature.
Yep.
And you've got liquid on the roads than it would be if it was just snow, because snowpack will give you some traction, but ice you get zero traction on when you're driving. So I got out of work last night at 9 o'clock, and it was raining yet, but thankfully everywhere that I was, it was still liquid. So it wasn't freezing yet, but I took her easy on the way home. I didn't go at any insane speeds. So, but then I woke up this morning and there was probably about a half an inch to an inch of actual snow on the ground. Which, man, it's a wet, gross snow. It's not the nice powdery snow, but
Good for making a dense snowball to chuck at your neighbor.
this is true. If you want to bruise somebody, you've got the right kind of snow for that. But I did have to go out and shovel the walk. I did the sidewalk and the walk up to our house today because my wife, rightly so, wants us to take good care of our mail lady because leaving snow and ice there is kind of difficult for her. So could be an accident and that we could possibly be liable for. So yeah, to make sure that the walks are cleaned up. But I didn't clean up the driveway because in true Wisconsin fashion, we're supposed to be in the 60s on Wednesday. So
Yeah.
you just
Sounds
never
about
know.
right. We had all the rain yesterday that you guys had too, but it was like in the 50s here. So it was just wet and gross and dark all day.
No.
But tis that time of year, I suppose. Tis the season for gross weather.
Mm-hmm. So I had a topic that I wanted to discuss with you today, and it's more along the lines of our faith as opposed to like the tech topics that we usually do. We're going to talk a little bit about like our predictions from last year and stuff like that coming up in a little bit. I'll throw a chapter marker in there. So if you're like, you don't want to listen to the Christian talk, that's fine. You can jump to that chapter. But at work, they're doing a leadership restructuring. So my current position is being phased out. So I had the option to interview for one of the remaining supervisor positions, or technically I could have interviewed for other positions, but I'm not looking to move up in the company. So that limits me a little bit to what I really want to do outside of about being a supervisor. Now, to be clear, my options were I could interview for one of the 6 supervisor positions that were left out of the 14 that we originally had. So they're cutting down a lot of the supervisor positions. So, and if you look at the structure, it all makes sense. I'm not here to complain about the structure, but I had the option to interview for one of those spots, which at this point I'll get one of those spots likely. I think my boss said it was like 95% I was going to end up with one of the spots. But then I'll get to my other options are I can demote and stay where I am, which I don't lose any money since it's their issue. It's their thing that they're changing. It's not me wanting to demote. It's them basically saying, you can either do this or demote. So I won't lose any money. I lose some of my success sharing, which whatever, that's the check I get 2 times a year. But then my other option is to actually leave the company and accept a severance pay of what I'm understanding to be like 2 months pay, which is what they'd give me in a severance package. Now, I'm not really considering that last option. I'm looking to stay with the company. But something came up in my interview, and we talked about it quite a bit. And it was they want to push for me to work on Sundays, and right now I don't, and I haven't for almost all the time. I think I can count on my two hands the number of Sundays I've worked in 8.5 years at my current store. And so they've always been really good about handling that with me. I'm not thinking of the word I want to use there, but they've always been real good about that. But the interview went in a way that made me feel like they're really not committed to remaining good about that. Because it was a lot of, then we're going to you can work at night. You don't have, the religious accommodation doesn't include, it's just Sunday morning. And man, it's really been bothering me for the last week, because to me, like that's my Sabbath day. And I know that that's not necessarily something that we're required to hold to on a Sunday, biblically, but that has been my Sabbath day for, forever. And when we've got the possibility of kids being in the home this year, I want that to be able to be a family day for us. I do date night with my wife on Sunday night. I mean, we try to get the most out of our Sundays so that I'm available to, work and whoever else the rest of the week. And so the fact that they are being difficult about offering my Sundays has really got me to the point right now where I think the conversation is going to have to go. And this is the decision that I've made, and I'd like your input on it. My general feeling is I'm either going to have my Sundays off, or I'm going to demote and stay where I am, where I already have my weekends off. So you have thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's important for, how do I want to say, like, sticking to your guns, standing up for what, we believe is right is a good thing. It is very tricky, I guess, with work. Like, I get them saying Sunday mornings is fine, but we want you to work Sunday nights then. But I also get you saying, no, like that's my day. And like, and I would commend you for, doing what you need to do to stick with what, is right for you and your family. It's such a personal decision, right? Because it's your work, it's your family. And this is a situation that they're putting you in by changing the structure at work. But I mean, this is, I totally understand why you would be frustrated and like really thinking deeply on what is the right move here, because you're being put in a position that you didn't ask for. which, that life happens, right? Like that's just part of life is how you is dealing with this sort of stuff. But the fact that you potentially have options, I think is a really good thing. And I would, certainly encourage you to think through all your options. And, part of it too is like corporate HR mumbo jumbo, right? Like they're not going to promise you something that they know, like they're going to promise you as little as possible so that you have nothing to hold that, you know what I mean? Like, I know, this, you're an adult.
I've done HR before. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so, this, but like even them saying like, well, maybe you'll have to work Sunday nights. I mean, that may never happen. You know what I mean?
What does that mean?
Yeah.
I mean, is it well, once a quarter or like on a really busy weekend or, something along those lines. But is it going to mean that, or is it going to mean I'm going to have to work every other weekend or a weekend a month or something like that? Because quite honestly, one of my big thoughts in all of this is, if we're bringing foster kids into the home, a lot of them have trauma that I'm sorry, my cat was looking up at you in the camera. That was hilarious. But so many of them have trauma that stems from neglect. And so having that constant like availability is so key to their development. And if my schedule is just bouncing all over the place and I'm available at one point, but I'm not available at another point, and, there's no stability in when I'm going to be available to the kids, I can see that negatively impacting the development that we're trying to do with them. And so I'm really seriously considering definitely saying, if you can't give me some consistency, and in the main case, it's those Sundays off, then I can't take the position. And if there's something I want to say, but I'm gonna leave it out because it's gonna sound like judging my boss. But I can see a situation where they make it more difficult for me. And quite honestly, what it comes down to is, if there's still the severance package on the table, which would be the absolute like nuclear option. It's not what I want, but given all the options in front of me, if they start taking away options, then there's always that option in the end. And if it's 2 months worth of pay, I've got plenty of time to grab another job. I've got all kinds of options, really. There's plenty of jobs available. The only difficulty that I could see is finding something that's going to pay around what I'm making now. But most of the factory work around here will give me those consistent hours and decent pay and all that kind of stuff. Not to say that I don't really want to work factory, but if I had to do it for a little while for my family, I wouldn't have a major issue with it. So, but what you looking at, dude? Yeah. So it's hilarious. But that's kind of where I'm at with that. So I've prayed about it a lot this last week, and the only place where I find peace in any of this is to say, you know what, if you can't offer me every Sunday off, then I will demote and stay where I am, where right now I get every Sunday off. So I get every Saturday and Sunday off. So, even better.
Yeah. So it's nice.
And not to say that can't change in the future, but so can I. So, I mean, for now it's available. So,
yeah.
But anyway, thanks for your thoughts. I, it helps a little bit. I know my wife's totally on board with whatever I decide. So, it's not taking money out of our pocket. It's limiting, it's probably like I get a little bit of a raise to go to the supervisor position from where I'm at right now, but it's a little bit of a raise. It's not like it's, earth shattering amount of money. It's, just a little bit of a, hey, we know your job's going to be a little tougher, so here's a little extra. Well, what we wanted to do on the show today was to take a look. We have a document here, and I can't say that it's super Like I went back and looked at it and I was like, man, we should have taken way better notes than this. But we have, and I don't know that we had a lot of like really strong opinions about what we thought we would see in 2021. But I thought what we do is we go through that today. And I say that it was your idea. You know, I want to give credit where credit's due. It was your idea to go through this and see, you know, how we did on our predictions and kind of do a kind of year in review. What did we get? What didn't we get? You know, those sorts of things. So, and of course the chip shortage this year and all the shipping issues and all that kind of stuff, I think really limited what was possible this year. But I think there's some interesting things, and you know, there's a theme running through all of this. I think I got everything wrong. So.
I mean, you know, if we want to call it out, that's fine.
So the new the new Apple Silicon iMac was released this year.
Yes.
That was an M1, correct?
Yep.
So I just get confused.
Just the standard M1.
Just a standard M1, but still, I mean, the M1 machines are good grief.
Oh, they're glorious. Yes.
Yeah. So the MacBook Air came out last year, right? And the Mac Mini, that was like the end of last year.
Yes.
Okay. So the iMac was, I think, the only M1 Mac that we got this year. So my prediction was no redesign on this. I thought they would go a generation of the iMac without a redesign, based on the fact that they did that with the MacBook Air and the Mac Mini, and you know, that first, you know, small wave of M1 Macs. They didn't do any kind of redesign with those. So I thought, and I think it's probably a safe bet that the iMac's not going to get redesigned.
Swing and a miss.
Yep. We got 7 colors, if you want to include gray. Complete redesign, almost completely rebuilt from the ground up. You know,
yeah,
with
matching trackpad and keyboards too for the colors.
Yeah, crazy. So if I could have been, excuse me, my coffee's trying to kill me. Show title. But do you know, my wife and I do that every so often, just, you know, sitting around the house. We'll say something and be like, oh, show title. But if I could have been more wrong, I don't know how. I mean, short of like the iMac levitating on the desk, I couldn't have been more wrong with this one. The only thing I might have gotten right is the fact that it still had a stand. So
that's fair. Can't win them all.
No. Anyway, we'll gloss over the fact that you said there'd be a complete redesign. So,
you know, we'll let history decide.
Mm-hmm. And we talked about like, what are the chip names going to be? So obviously they went with the M1 there. I think I suggested the M1Z,
which is a, you know, some bold kind of move, because I don't think they've used Z in anything before. Have they?
Have. There was I think there was an iPad that had the like a I want to say it was like a A14Z or something like that. There was something in there, an A13Z, A14Z, somewhere in there. I swear there was one.
I don't know about that. They had the Bionic and the X.
Yeah, we're going to pretend like we don't have the internet to look that up. But
yeah, moving on.
We got AirPods 3.
This is true. Mm-hmm. Stupid short stems.
I got AirPods 3. So that's exciting. I'll tell you, I like them. I like them a lot. They've been really good. And we didn't have any predictions on this one, so we're just saying it's good. They're really good good little AirPods. So we've talked about them before. I like them a little bit better than the Pros, because the Pros I didn't like shoving stuff in my ears. But they still feel like they're going to fall out, even though they never have, unless I been changing my clothes and brushed shirt across them and they pulled them out. But iPad Pros, did we got the M1 iPad Pro this year, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was in the spring.
So that would be, Cam said chip upgrade.
Oh, look at that. Okay, so I didn't go back and listen to the episode, but I don't know how much I disagreed with you because
I know. I'm just being
you're just being
stupid.
difficult.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, no, we got the new iPad Pros with the M1 chips in them. And neither of us have one of these because we don't need one.
Yeah.
And I got the iPad Pro in 2020, so I'm good for a long time.
And I'll say that I'm in the market for an iPad casually right now. I've got some stuff I got to pay off before I can make room in the budget to get something like that. But I don't think it's going to be an iPad Pro.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're looking for the iPad casual, get a shot, dude. The mini, it's great. I love it. I'm
thinking about the mini.
It's wonderful.
As ridiculous as this sounds, it's the cost that's kind of keeping me from it.
That's fair.
If I were to, I would be looking. My decision really falls between the iPad Mini, or the iPad Air. One of those three SKUs.
It really bothers me that it's just called the iPad, and then there's the Mini in the Air. It's like,
it's not called the iPad. It's called iPad.
Shut up. I do want to say though that talking about the chip upgrade to the iPad Pro does bring up a sore spot for me.
Mm-hmm.
That they put the M1 on the iPad Pro and we didn't get Logic or Final Cut for iOS. Like really?
Yet.
I know that there's like a series of episodes where I just would rant and get on myself, but like bringing this up is bringing all of those feelings back again.
I'm sorry.
Come on, man. Come on.
No, I'm sure it's not because they hate you or anything.
No, they don't care about me. There's not a single person that works there that knows I exist, and that's totally fine.
Yep.
It was like they made they put the M1, it's the same chip, great, and no pro applications from Apple. Like, guys, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. I'm going to give them the dad line.
Yeah, well, and I think that maybe just patience is still needed because I wouldn't doubt that they're coming.
I know. I just, when they made the switch, you expected there to be something to go along with it.
I got good reason for it. I get it. iOS 15. We got iOS 15. I think that was
the safest prediction ever. Yeah. That's an uncontested layup right there.
For sure. We got Mac OS 12. I don't know if there's anything we have to say. I mean, we're still getting Mac OS 12. We haven't gotten all the features yet. But looking forward to universal control. But we haven't got anything like that yet.
Yeah. It's coming. I don't even have Monterey on my Air. I have it on my work machine, but I don't have it on my personal machine because Logic plugins.
Yeah. There was the new MacBook Pro, 14 and 16 inch. We got 14.1 and 16.1 inch, but I don't know why. I could have just went in and edited that out and it would have been fine.
Revisionist history, Mitch.
Right. I had a prediction that they would call it the M1X. I was only a couple letters off. Hey, you got to take your victories where you get them.
You were missing your ma there.
So we got an M1 Pro and an M1 Max with the new Mac Pros or MacBook Pros. So
yes, you can get a Max in your Mac.
Yep.
God, Apple loves terrible names.
Yeah. Well, we all know what we're talking about. So even if it requires
clarification. Do we though?
I don't know. I do.
No.
I get it.
I appreciate your confidence.
Context.
So yeah, these new machines apparently are ridiculous.
Yeah. The more that I hear about them, the more that I think that will likely at some point replace my desktop and laptop game. I'll just end up with a display with a dock, and that'll be it.
The Pro Display XDR with the $1,000 stand.
No. No. I can barely afford the stand. I can't afford it.
Yeah, I bring it up purely because of the ludicrous cost of that thing.
If I did,
and then you could get the matte finish on it too for even more money.
Oh yeah, I think it's another $1,000 or something like that for the matte finish.
Because money doesn't matter. It's not real.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm looking forward to, and I think I've heard a lot of talk, especially on ATP, about them offering another display at some point. So I'm hoping we see that happen, or they'll have a little bit like less awesome display they can sell. But
it's called Apple Amateur Display.
Yeah, there you go. The display
$4.
Yeah.
For all you amateurs out there.
Yeah. But yeah, iPhone 13. We both upgraded this year, right?
Yes, it's glorious.
I like it. It's good.
I do too.
Camera's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been noticing my my pictures on Instagram of the Lego Star Wars Advent calendar?
I have seen a few of them. Yes.
Yep. Those are all macro photography with the new iPhone 13.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a good call.
Yeah, and it looks good. I mean, my lighting in the morning is pretty bad in the kitchen, or in the dining room. But basically, I get up, I eat breakfast, I have some, like all these supplements that my wife asked me to take, and I take all those, and then I open up my advent calendar, which is sitting right on the table there, and put together my thing, and then I take pictures and post them. So yeah.
What was this morning's?
An X-Wing.
So, nice.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's upstairs with the rest of them. So
very good.
But yeah, that macro photography, or the macro lens, it's not even a macro lens. It's just the way it uses the wide angle lens, or the ultra wide angle lens, I think it is. But works really nice. I like it. We did not get an iPhone SE Plus this year, which was rumored.
Uh-huh.
And keeping with that tradition, we did get an Apple Watch Series 7. I got an Apple Watch Series 7.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You got the Nike one, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I got the Nike edition, which I really like this Nike hybrid watch face. It's a cool watch face. But we did not get an SE2. Which is rumored for next year, but we did not get that. So
what was the main difference, or the main upgrades from the 6 to the 7? Do you remember? Because I have the 6.
It's bigger. Comes in different colors.
Moving on.
Quite honestly, I don't think there were many. They touted the size of the display, some watch faces to take advantage of that size. I don't think there was only like 1 or 2 watch faces that really were to take advantage of the larger size. It wasn't a huge upgrade over the 6, but I was coming from the 4, which did not have an always on display, and I didn't realize how much I missed that. So I'm really happy with the always on display.
Yeah, imagine that, being able to see the time at any point on a watch. What a novel concept.
Right. So, by the way, I think it's hilarious that I'm going to send you a screenshot of my Apple Watch here real quick, so we can talk about it, so you can see what I'm talking about. But I have the Apple hybrid. The Nike hybrid watch face that I use. And I think it's hilarious that Marco in the Overcast app decided there were a couple of things, like a couple of complications that he wanted. And so he wrote them into Overcast. So he wanted just a day and date. If you notice at the top of my dial,
it's got the Overcast logo.
Saturday 11.
Uh-huh.
And you see right in front of that, there's a little Overcast.
Yeah, the Overcast logo. Yeah.
So you can get to the Overcast app by tapping on that, but it's just a way to get the date on the dial.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Go, Marco.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious. But it's a nice looking watch face, isn't it?
Yeah, I will be honest. I want to say something, but I also don't, because I don't want to break this in your brain. But so like the time is like italicized, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If you notice, the 1 and the 4, they line up vertically.
Mm-hmm.
There's a giant gap above the 5 to the right of the 0, and it bothers me so much.
So my feeling about it is that it's slightly cocked a little bit, and that they're just off from each other a little bit.
To me, that's not a little bit. That's the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, well, I'm living with it. I like it.
Yeah.
The other thing that is nice about this watch face is I think it looks really nice in the always on, like dimmed view, because the large numbers in the middle of that display, like you get the outline of the number, but then it darkens in the middle. So
okay.
it looks, I think it looks out of all the watch faces that I've tried, in the dimmed view, I think it looks the nicest out of all of them, because like you got the infograph dial style watch face, regular infograph one, that the only thing that changes when it goes is it dims a little bit, and then if you have anything that has like seconds, so if you have the digital time in the top and it has a second counter, it removes the second counter because it only updates once a minute then.
Yeah.
So you only lose a couple of things off the dial, and then it just dims. So it doesn't give you a different experience. And I kind of like having that different experience when it goes to the dimmed view. So
I have another question.
Yeah.
One of your complications is a 4-minute timer.
Yeah.
Do you use a 4-minute timer that often?
So that is the timer, and that just shows the last timer that you used. So
it's not a set. Okay.
No,
so
it's not like
tapping on it. Just okay.
Yeah. So it's a 4-minute timer because the last time I used it for my coffee. So steeping my coffee.
I just assumed since it had a time there that it would run that time on the timer and not just open the.
No, it just opens up the timer app and then you can.
Then why does it tell you the time? That's so silly.
Because that was the last one that I used.
I know, but
it doesn't have to. I don't know. It's just the way it does it. They do have them in the app where you can put like 15 minutes and it's always 15 minutes, but I use various length timers, so I don't do it that way.
Yeah. Well, but then they shouldn't have the time there. They should just have the logo.
All right. So anyway, pro tip. so I'm gonna throw out a pro tip for the always on display. It wasn't annoying me that when I would raise to wake the watch, that it would wake up. That wasn't annoying to me, but I would lose the nice watch face that I really liked, with just the outline around the numbers and stuff like that. So I turned off the raise to wake feature, so it doesn't wake up when I look at it. If I pick it up to look at the watch, so I have to tap it to wake it up. So it actually, I think it's saving me a little bit of battery life that way. And
I would imagine so. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, if I'm just looking at the time or what time it is, I don't need that updating more than like once every minute, because there's nothing on here that has to update more than that. So little pro tip, maybe. I think it's a
life hack.
A life hack. Sure. There you go. I like pro tip better, but life hack if you're into that thing.
Pro life tip hack.
There you go. So, but I'm really loving this watch. I destroyed my last watch, just scratches and all kinds of stuff. So I had to give in and actually put a case on it when I'm at work. But one of the beautiful things about the weekend is that I can run naked and I don't have a case on it. It's great.
Poor choice of words. We're going streaking.
Nobody
bring your hat.
AirTags. We got AirTags this year.
This is true. Do you have any?
I have not yet gotten any.
Yeah, I don't have any either.
So here, this last week, there was a little bit of kerfuffle about the company that bought Tile. I can't remember the name of the company. Let me look it up real quick. Acquired by Life 360.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Okay.
So this last week, there was a huge story that Life 360 has been selling all of their customer data. And not to say that it isn't in their EULA, but who reads those? But they've been selling all of that. So now they bought Tile, and Tile has all this user data that it's been collecting on their users' locations, and now that's all going to get sold. And so, yeah. So I thought that was exciting, and a reason why I'm not recharging my Tile for my watch or for my keys, and I'm just not rebuying the one that went dead in my wallet. So no more Tile for me.
There you go.
But
AirTag.
I may buy some AirTags at some point here.
Aren't they like $29 a pop or something?
I think
like
they're $29 a piece. What's worse is that the Apple branded cases for them are like $40 a piece, $35. So they're more expensive. The cases are more expensive than the AirPod or the AirTag.
That cracks. Imagine if that was the case for the iPhone. Here's your $1,000 phone, and here's a $1,200 case.
Yeah.
Better be made out of freaking diamonds, man.
Well, they exist. So they're not $1,200. They're probably more like $12,000. But
yeah, well, that goes to show you the last time I bought a diamond. I don't know.
Yeah, but you can get them if you want them. So,
all right, AirTags.
Oh, I'm off that document. Hold on.
AirTags. AirPower still hasn't come out yet, has it?
No.
That's dead. That's dead in the water, right? Well, not in the water. That would be bad. Everybody would be.
Although there has been rumors that Apple's working on a new charging pad. It's not going to be the rumors say that it's not going to be what they were trying to do with AirPower. It's going to be basically you've got 3 spots to put your devices down on, and they're all MagSafe. So you throw your phone down and it clicks into place, and then you throw your AirPods down and they click into place, and then you put your watch in and it clicks into place, and they all have their own spots on the charging pad.
It's not just the Wild West where you can just throw it anywhere and then hope your house doesn't burn down.
Right. And that's what they were having trouble with. So yeah,
yeah. It reminds me of did you ever watch Silicon Valley?
A long time ago. I haven't seen the latest season or two, but
yeah, I think I only watched like the first 2 seasons, and then it got to be a bit much. But there was one they were doing like the innovation contest, and this guy was like local heating, pointing microwaves at people. It was like, don't heat your house, just heat where you're sitting. And like the people that they tested it on were like turning into like, and the guy was like, oh nope, like no, this is all like, shut up, you're done. Like we're like, don't even. He's like, what? It's a great idea. It was like the human version of wireless charging was just like microwave heating, and it was so freaking funny.
That show is hilarious.
Yes. It's Erlich Bachman. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So whenever I think of wireless charging, I think of that scene of a guy literally his body being destroyed by microwaves just pointing at him. Good
so
stuff.
I do have to share something talking about wireless charging.
You also believe in witchcraft?
No. Well,
okay.
But I have, and it's not directly wireless charging. It's more like the battery life on this phone that I have is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I'm getting up in the morning and I go through my day, and when I put my phone in the car, I plug it in so that I can use the CarPlay. And then on my way home from work, I plug it in so that I can use the CarPlay. And then when I go to bed, which is usually about an hour after I get home from work, I put it on the charging pad, and I have not seen under 80% when I put it on my charging pad at night. Now, and I make sure that I say that I do plug it in when I'm in the car. But still, like, if I didn't do that, I don't know that I would ever see under 50% on that phone. So it's ridiculous.
It's very nice.
And another thought on the battery life of the Apple Watch Series 7, I'm getting 24 hours of battery life right now, and only getting down to, I think I see 10% every once in a while, but on a day like today, tomorrow morning when I go to plug it in, it'll be at like 25%.
Yeah, so, my Series 6 has got a ridiculous battery life too.
And the fast charging, I throw it on the charger, and this is the only reason why I even wear it overnight anymore, because I tried that before, and just like it just got cumbersome to plug it in at a little bit at night and then a little bit in the morning and try to manage all that. Well, in the morning now, I get up, I throw it on the charger, and I'll go down to breakfast, and then Jamie and I'll sit on the couch and do our thing there. And as I'm doing that, I'll get a notification that my watch is charged, and that'll be from 10%. It will charge within about 45 minutes. So it's pretty cool.
Ever impressive.
Yes. It's insane. Sorry, I need a Kleenex. Hold on.
This episode brought to you by Mute Buttons, so you don't have to hear Mitch blow his nose, because that's disgusting.
Well, what's even funnier is it looks funny without sound. So I'm waiting for you to crack up. It's like my face is getting red as I'm blowing, and you can't hear anything. And I have the noise cancellation on my AirPods Max right now, so I couldn't hear it either. So it's just weird. Anyway, now that I'm
falls in a forest and no one hears it, does it actually make a sound?
Yeah, it didn't happen. All right. Did we get a new Apple TV this year?
Did the 4K one come out last year?
Yeah, we've had a 4K one. I just can't.
Yeah, because I think all of the Apple TV updates were software this year, like tvOS stuff with HomeKit. Because now you can.
What would they do to that if they were going to update it?
Who knows? Ability to play 8K.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think that one's going to be pretty stationary for a while, because 4K is just now becoming sort of normal. Like, you can occasionally get like a football game or a soccer game in 4K, but like most TV is still 1080. But I mean, a lot of the updates to the Apple TV were to the OS, and like you get HomeKit stuff now, so like I can view my HomeKit cameras on my TV. I still don't have a HomeKit app on the TV, which is ridiculous. You have to like hold the home button down, and then the thing slides over, then you choose, oh, show me my cameras. I think it's ridiculous that there still isn't a home app on the Home Hub device. Like, if anything should have a HomeKit app on it, it should be the TV.
Yeah,
but I've made this argument before. I won't do it again in full detail, because I think it just makes sense, and I shouldn't have to explain.
Well, we can probably skip over that next one and head right into
no. Because not only do I have one of these, I'm encouraging you to think about getting one, Mitch. And that would be the new iPad Mini.
Yes.
Now, Mitch, why wouldn't you want to talk about such a great, cute, lovely little perfect device?
Just because it would bug you if we didn't.
Yeah. Oh, it's not because you predicted that there wouldn't be an update to the Mini at all this year? That's not the case.
That would be another thing I got wrong.
Oh yeah, small detail. Yeah. No, it's. Yep. I mean, it's got the Mini got redesigned to match the iPad Pro and the new MacBook or iPad Air. So it's got Touch ID built into the power button, so no Face ID, which is totally fine. It's got the very thin, bezels with the rounded corners and everything. It is a wonderful little iPad. I recommend it wholeheartedly to people that would appreciate such lovely little things.
So I will say that I am tempted, and that's because my need for an iPad has changed. Years ago, I bought the iPad Pro originally because I just wanted, really to live the iPad lifestyle and use it as a main machine. And in most cases, like it works great for that, but I've realized that there's so much I can't do on it that having my MacBook Pro upstairs as my couch computer and having my iMac down here in the basement in my studio as my like getting things done computer, my office computer, as is the perfect, it's what I need. Like those two devices do everything that I need and are far easier to use for my use cases. So the iPad just, I've had trouble trying to find like a good like use for it or place for it. That's probably a better way to put it. Mm-hmm. The only thing that I really use it for right now is when I'm at church and I have to run Streamlabs and Proclaim at the same time on the same machine. Sometimes it works a lot easier to use the remote apps for both of those pieces of software and just run it all right off my iPad and basically I can walk away from the sound booth, and run everything right on my iPad as long as I can see the screen or, during worship I don't change the camera angle. So I can leave the camera angle stable and like actually like walk away and run the live stream that way. I don't usually do that, but I have the ability to.
Yeah.
So
those remote apps are very convenient.
Yeah, I like it a lot. But beyond that, it's mainly my reader. It's I use it for reading a lot, and I'll play some games on it every so often. I use my iPad at work for for like our reports and stuff like that. I can log into our work Office 360 account and look at reports and stuff like that on my iPad. So I use it that way too. And it works pretty slick for that. So, but that's really all I use that device for. It's a little bit more portable, which is nice. But I think that the iPad mini would serve 2 out of 3 of those needs really well. And one of those needs may be going away shortly anyway. So, the need at work. So, I could get away with just having something that a nice reader. And honestly, I would look into like the Kindle Oasis for reading if it offered the auto page turning with the audio, which I think is ridiculous that they don't offer that on the Kindle Oasis. You can only get that in the iPad, iPhone apps, and maybe on the Kindle Fire. I'm not 100% sure if it's on the Kindle Fire or not, but I use that all the time. That's how I read. That's how it keeps my attention, is to be able to listen to the audio and then read along as it's scrolling through the text. So so the iPad mini would be a perfect device for that.
Tis a lovely little machine. I like mine very much.
Yeah. It gives me pause to think that I would be spending $500 on a reading device.
Yeah, well, there is that. There is that.
And that's why if the Kindle Oasis had that capability on it, like that would make way more sense to me. I can get around I can still use my iPad for the remote features at the church, but it's just that it's getting old, and I don't know how much life it's got left, but it's the original iPad Pro, so I'm not sure what generation we're on right now for the iPad Pro, but it's not new anymore. So
this is true.
I'm waiting for one of these years not to be able to get an update for it.
One of my friends, he's also a pastor at the church. He had the original 12.9-inch Pro, and he just upgraded to the M1 Pro this week. And it was like, I mean, the jump from the original to the latest is significant. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and the iPad that I have, the 9.7-inch, came out the year before that. So this thing's got some
miles on under its hood.
Yeah, it's been a good device, but
yeah,
I've got it right here. The one thing problem I have is that I got the white bezel on it. I got the gold one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it had the white bezel, which I've been paying for that choice for years. And it's not on. Oh, I guess I have to charge it. That is a thing. So, but
all right, last on our list.
I was gonna fire it up and check and see if it actually if it gave me the year that it came out, because I bought it pretty much that year. So
yeah, it probably like 2014, 2015.
I don't know if it's quite that old, but yeah, I've just plugged in the lightning cable to it to give it some charge. So we'll see. I just used it last Monday, but I haven't charged it since then. So, and it was already pretty low. All right, last thing.
Yep.
AirPods Pro 2. Nope.
Those were pretty heavily rumored, though, weren't they?
They have been pretty steadily, but that's one of those things that I think has probably been affected by the supply chain. It's not something that they really have to update right now. What the heck is going on with my leg? Anyway, it's not something that has to be updated right now. So I think, when you start talking about some of the supply chain issues and chip shortages and stuff like that, it's something that's easy to knock down the list.
Yeah. Especially since they did just do the new version of the AirPods. So the non-pro ones.
Yeah. So what else did we get this year that we're excited
about? Big Ten champion University of Michigan Wolverines. Let's go, baby!
I saw that and forgot to text you.
Oh, but it was glorious. Still is.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
I mean, not only did we finally beat Ohio State, we destroyed them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we beat Iowa in the Big Ten championship game 42-3. It was a mauling. They scored a field goal in the first quarter, and that is all they got their whole game. Wow. It was amazing. And now we have the pleasure of playing Georgia in the college football playoff. So we'll see how that goes. But it is so nice. 12-1, Mitch.
Mm-hmm.
And the one loss we had, we blew a 16-point lead. So it's our own darn fault that we're not undefeated.
Right.
And not the number one team. It's our own darn fault.
Yeah. I was excited for you when I saw that.
They haven't won the Big Ten since 2004.
Yeah.
That was crazy to me. I mean, I know we've not been great. But that's what happens when, Ohio State goes crazy and, wins all the things. And other teams. I think Wisconsin's got a few Big Ten titles in there too.
Yeah. Wisconsin's done really well there too. Yeah.
So
during the Barry Alvarez years, I don't know that they've done much since he left, but
they were decent when Bielema was there, and they're still. I mean, Paul Chryst is a really good football coach.
Yeah,
they just they haven't had the consistency in recent years. They've been pretty up and down. They're either like really good or mediocre. Like they're always, especially at Camp Randall, it's a tough place to play.
Yeah. Wisconsin has that about it. I think the only place they don't say that about is what is it, AmFam Field, where the Brewers play.
That's the name of it now.
American Family Field. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I was so upset when I heard that that Miller wasn't renewing their sponsorship, because Miller Park was that's what it deserves to be.
Yeah.
I mean, the Brewers are playing in Miller Park. What it just makes so much sense. Now the Brewers play in American Family Field.
Yeah, well, the White Sox play in Guaranteed Rate Field. Like the worst name ever.
All right, so you made your point. It could be worse.
It could be, not by much. I mean, you guys probably have the second worst name.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, Guaranteed Rate Field.
But I will say we have Lambeau Field, so that's a tough place to come play too. So
for sure.
Yeah. Especially when it's like 20 degrees below zero and windy, and people's arms are falling off on the field because they froze. Yeah, it's pretty good. Good stuff. That's the way football should be played.
Yeah, well, good luck with that.
Mm-hmm. Couple other things. Did you notice that we now have SharePlay on the Apple TV?
Yeah, I saw the pop-up. And I immediately dismissed it because I don't care.
You and I should try it sometime.
Yeah, we'll watch the Mariah Carey Christmas special together, right?
Oh, tonight, 7:00.
I have to do some paperwork. Sorry,
I have to.
I've got to organize my sock drawer. It's very important. Can't be missed.
I think the basement needs to be cleaned out. I'm gonna go shovel the sidewalk.
Exactly. All that snow that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't, the shared play thing, I don't get it. It's not for me. Let's just put it that way. If other people like it, great. It's not for me.
I can see the problem that I run into with any of those shared features is that I don't feel like I know enough people that would want to do this with me.
But like anyone that I would want to do this, watch a show with, I would just have them over my house or go to their place.
Well, let's put it this way. My parents live they live about an hour away. My sister and brother-in-law live down in Tennessee. So if we wanted to do something like this, that would be awesome. But I have an Apple TV. They would have to watch on their phones. And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to ask them to sit and watch a movie or something on their phone just so that we can talk about it. What we could do is all start the movie at the same time and be on the phone together. And if we really wanted to do something like that. And so it's just,
even that, I don't get the appeal.
Yeah.
Like, the whole point of watching a movie with someone isn't to talk to them about the movie you're watching. It's to sit and enjoy the movie together.
Yeah. The only other thing I could think of would be if there was there's a YouTube video that you wanted to share while you were on a FaceTime call or something like that. If that worked, I'm not even sure that works. But that I could see as a possibility too. But I'm not going to sit down and watch an episode of Ted Lasso with my parents or anything like that. That's as much as I like it, I'm not going to put my mom through that. Because she's not going to be able to watch it on her TV because she doesn't have a Apple TV. Plus, I would have to spend 15, 20 minutes talking her through how to do it, Yeah. So I'm not sure how simple it is to set up. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I mean, it'd be one thing if I was 20 something again with a whole bunch of college friends that all were big Mac people, and we wanted to hang out and watch movies together. This almost feels like features that are designed for people who work at Apple, because they got a whole bunch of friends that have Apple stuff. So
well, I mean, they do exist in a bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so that was 2021 in Apple products.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure we missed some stuff, but those are the high marks, I think. So,
indeed.
Well, you got something that's delighting you today? We already talked about Michigan football, so
yeah, I know. Man. So tell me one more time. What did they do, Mitch?
They might have won some kind of championship.
Yeah, What's delighting me? Hmm. I have an espresso machine now,
Yeah,
and I get to make homemade espresso and lattes, and it's glorious.
I thought you had the Nespresso.
I do, and I will probably be selling that to somebody.
Hmm.
Because it's fake espresso.
Yeah,
Uh, and I just you got to buy the pods, and it's you don't get to use your own coffee with it essentially.
yeah.
Um, so I picked up a Breville Barista Express, which is a full on actual espresso machine. It's got a built in grinder, so you can grind right into the portafilter. You can pull one or two shots, and then it has the steam wand on it, so you can, do your own milk. And I got it on the recommendation of a guy that I worked at the coffee shop with for a while. He is a professional wrestler now on the indies. His name is Campbell Myers. Look him up. And the only reason, because like the espresso machine that we used at our coffee shop was a $10,000 machine. So, not in my budget.
Right.
I mean, it had two steam wands, and it had 3 portafilters, so you could pull 6 shots at a time. Like, this thing was like ridiculous. But I got it based on, because he's had his for like a year or two, and I trust his judgment, because a lot of like home espresso machines, like, you get what you pay for essentially, and a lot of them are like cheap and crappy. But this one is really, really nice, and you have full control over how fine or how coarse your grind is, how much you pull, like full control over all that, so you can really dial it in. It's a really nice machine, and I got it at a discount because Black Friday, Cyber Monday, whatever. And I am making myself homemade coffee in the way that I like it. So now I have my homemade cold brew, and then I have homemade espresso or lattes or cortados or macchiatos or whatever fancy coffee beverage I want to make. I can now do the full gamut. And it is that's what I was drinking earlier. It was a nice oat milk latte in my mug.
Very
It was
nice.
glorious. And I'm not an oat milk person because I'm vegan or anything like that. I just genuinely don't enjoy milk. I love cheese, love ice cream, love butter. Milk, I just don't enjoy. But oat milk, I find, especially with coffee, is quite tasty. So it's a taste preference than more than anything else.
So that's the Breville Barista Express, did you say? That's a nice looking machine.
Yeah, and I got the black one, so it's like
Okay.
very cool.
So, okay. So this is totally unrelated to what you just said, but I'm gonna pop this in here.
Yes, I'm listening.
I'm trying to pull it up online to look at it, and I ran into this stupid thing again, where I clicked on it, and it pops over and says, "Oh, you cannot connect to the server," and it's a Google ad. It was a Google ad version of it or whatever, and it wouldn't let me connect to the server. Do you have problems with this at all? No,
I don't usually click on ads though. I always scroll down.
Well, I go to Google, I search for something, and then I click on like the first link, but I don't realize until afterwards that it was an ad.
Yeah,
because it just says a little ad there. But it takes you to the same page if you scroll down and click on something. So it's not like
I just don't want to give Google the click for the ad. I'm that petty. I will scroll down just to not click on the ad.
Right on. But I would like to fix this because this is really annoying. There's been a few things that I've had to get to. Like it was the only way to get to it.
Do you have a VPN turned on?
I used to, but I don't have it. I don't have it now.
Okay.
I didn't renew ExpressVPN this last year. So, but no, there's no VPN on now. It's just, it was doing it on my phone. And then when I upgraded to the 13, it's still doing it. And it doesn't on all my machines. It's like, I don't know what I've got set or what's going on here, but It's really annoying me. So anyway,
Fair.
I'm going to throw this espresso machine into the show notes. I have it in black sesame. Does that sound right?
I don't know. Mine's black. That's all I know.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and throw this into the show notes because I'm assuming this is the same one that you have. So
yeah, and like I said, I got mine on sale. Is the only reason I have it.
I'm looking at $5.99.
Yeah, I paid less. I think. I sure hope I paid less.
Considerably less, or
because in hindsight, that would be a silly amount of money.
Well, hold on. Let me share the screen with you real quick, and you can tell me if this is the same one you have.
Yes, that is the exact machine that I have.
Okay. All right. All right.
Bed Bath and Beyond.
Yep. So, links in the show notes if y'all are interested in checking that out. So,
yeah, it's a glorious little machine.
So I had some I was thinking about a few different things. The Lego Star Wars Advent Calendar is giving me a lot of delight right now. Little fun little build every morning. It's been good. And if you're not following me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram because I've been posting them all every day. And I've had a little bit of trouble with Squarespace putting those up on Squarespace through the app. So they may not be up every day, but I have been putting them on my website as well at mitchcraig.online. So you can check them out there as well. But I've been having some fun with this. They're just quick little builds and little fun things that I've been putting together. So it's good. But I have rediscovered a show that it is hard for this show not to delight me. And so every time I sit down, I watch an episode before I go to work every day just to put a smile on my face and make me feel better about going to work. So for the longest time, I only had so many seasons of the show available. And so like I watched a lot of the first, I think 9 seasons, and now I'm getting caught up on the latest seasons, and I am thoroughly enjoying SpongeBob SquarePants again.
I had no idea. Well, you said 9 seasons, and then there were more. I was like, well, there goes all the shows I was thinking right out the window.
So
SpongeBob SquarePants.
I buried the lead so that I could get that reaction. That was
oh my gosh. Had I been prepared, I would have given you the
yeah. So part of the reason that I watch it before I go to work too is because my wife doesn't really have a lot of patience for his laugh.
Well, there you go.
I'm very measured about how much of that I make her endure.
Oh, that's a good word.
Yeah. I've been getting caught up on Pawn Stars lately too.
Gosh. Are they still doing is that the one in Detroit?
No, it's in Las Vegas.
Okay.
But that's been fun. There was it's fun to watch people want so much more for stuff than what they're willing to pay. And then act like, well, you don't know what you're talking about. And they're just like, whatever, have a nice day.
Yeah, exactly.
But I saw an episode. I don't know how new it was. It was newer, but I don't know how new it was. A guy came into the shop and brought in 2 items. There was a Mick Foley Mankind mask that was basically a costume mask, and he had signed it. And he'd written "Have a nice day" and then signed it. And then he had a Dude Love shirt that was like an original, and he wanted to sell those as collectible items. And Rick, who's the dad on the show, and Chumley were standing there, and Chumley knows a lot about those kinds of collectibles, so he came over to kind of talk about it. And Rick says, yeah, I don't have my signature guy isn't available today, so I'm not sure what we're going to do. And Chumley's like, I got a guy. I'll give him a call and have him come over. So a little bit of the episode passes by, and then it comes back to that. And so the guy's standing there, huge, like Mick Foley fan. And Chumley says, oh, my guy's here. Come on over. Mick Foley walks around the corner and walks over, and he's like, Yeah, I'd sign that, and and I always write that with my signatures, and apparently Chumley knows him. Like the two of them have gotten to know each other a little bit, so there was some history, and he was in Las Vegas, so he calls him over and has him authenticate it. So it was pretty funny. Yeah, thought you would enjoy that at least.
Yeah,
it was pretty
Dude,
funny.
okay. So two show recommendations. I know we talked about Foundation last time.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have you been watching Wheel of Time at all on Amazon Prime?
It's on my list, but I haven't started it yet.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think you'll really like it. It is high fantasy.
Oh yeah.
Like this is not for the casual, person who's like, oh, Game of Thrones, sure, whatever. This is like high fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
But I really enjoy it. And I read the first like 3 books when I was younger, and I actually just reordered the first book so I could start rereading it, because it's probably been 20 years since I read any of it. So I've been really enjoying that. And then the final season of The Expanse, the first episode came out yesterday of the final season.
I saw that, and I was just going to check and see. And it's the final season?
It's the final season, and episode 1 just came out last night. And I
really hope they give us more than 10 episodes. Have they said anything about that?
I don't know, but I really enjoy The Expanse quite a lot.
And Jamie and I do as well. So it's all those good geek shows that we like.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Sci-fi, fantasy.
That's all right.
It's not for everybody, but it's for us.
Exactly. So anyways, those are my 2 recommendations for stuff that you can currently watch on Amazon would be The Wheel of Time and The Expanse.
Very cool.
And if you haven't watched The Expanse at all of it's on Amazon Prime, and it is well worth your time to watch. It is so good.
One of the best, space operas, I guess I would call it. One of the best space based sci-fi shows that has been out.
And it's very
well done.
It starts out like, if you look back, like from where we are now to where it started,
mm-hmm.
the trajectory and the building of the world, the universe, essentially, like it starts out with such a specific narrow storyline, and now 6-7 seasons later, it's like you have just encompassed like the entire known solar system and beyond, and the storylines are interweaved. It is so well done. And it's, I think, really, really like the production quality has improved every season. Like the cinema, like it is a well done top to bottom show. So I highly recommend it.
So we should I should say that the writers for the books, they write under a pseudonym. It's actually 2 guys that write the books.
Oh, really?
Let me look it up here real quick and trying to remember what name novel series. James S.A. Corey is the name that they write under. But the books are amazing. And the 2 guys actually wrote with George R.R. Martin and on the Game of Thrones stuff. Okay. So if you think that there's any similarities between the 2, it's 100% similarities between the 2, because they are like 2 sides of the same coin. So where one is or a lot of fantasy, I won't say high fantasy, but very much fantasy. The other one's very much sci-fi. And so, if you really enjoyed Game of Thrones, this is a really nice complement to it if you enjoy sci-fi as well. So I'm looking to see if they have any information on the authors on here. Inspiration in writing. Ty Franek and Daniel Abraham, looks like.
Well, and they're very much involved with the TV show. I see their names every episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're 100% in that. So, but there's information on here about their I'm sorry, I'll include this in the show notes. This is the Wikipedia article about the novel series, but you can take a look at that. So
very good.
Cool. Yeah. So, all right. For as far as wrestling this last week, we had a couple of. Have you seen the news about Gargano and O'Reilly?
Their contracts are up, but
Yep.
there's been no
They're
decision
being referred
publicly
to as free agents, and apparently neither one of them is considered re-signing with NXT or WWE in general. So,
Well, yeah, the rumors I saw were that Gargano's taking time off because he's about to have a kid,
I think that's 100% true. Yeah.
and because Candace is still under contract,
Mhm.
his wife. But the rumors are that he's just taking time off and that he'll come back to WWE. Now, obviously, this is rumors, and so who knows what's going to happen. And then the other rumors are that O'Reilly's going to go to AEW and join Cole and Fish over there. But again, I don't know how much truth to that other than it just like, well, he was buddies with them here, so why wouldn't he go be buddies with them there?
Right.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. So
I watched War Games. War Games was really good.
Yeah, War Games was fun. I watched that on Monday.
But like, I haven't watched Raw or SmackDown in a really long time.
Yeah, that's the thing. Raw and SmackDown. I don't know. I can't say that I'm super excited about any of the promotions right now. You know, I'm still watching Raw and SmackDown and just hoping for something. Although I will tell you that the RK Bro stuff has been hilarious. This last week was funny. It was good. So
it wasn't Riddle like on commentary, like in a blazer or something like that.
That was the funniest. Yeah, I think wasn't that this last week? I think it was this last week.
I don't know. I saw a picture somewhere online. I thought it was funny.
And he had the old school like beige WWE jacket on and the whole thing. It was so good. And of course, he went out there for one match, and Randy went out there with him. They're doing a what they call the RK Brodament. It's a tournament for an opportunity at the title. Yeah. And so it was so funny because he's out there with Randy, and Randy's just like, come on, man. And he's just, I love how well they're playing Randy as just this, like, such a straight to
grumpy old man. Yeah.
Yeah. But the funny thing is like they give you just enough of him, like, all right, fine, let's do it, you know, and just kind of goes along with Riddle. And it's so funny to watch. Because Riddle, it seems like he just keeps coming up with the weirder and weirder things for Randy. You know, I don't know if you heard when he was trying to talk Randy into wearing like some kind of new matching ring gear, and like it's just hilarious, the stuff that he comes up with. I kind of wonder how much of that's coming from creative and how much of that's coming from Riddle.
Yeah, who knows?
Such funny stuff, though.
Yeah, he is a goofball.
All right. Well, I got nothing. I don't know if there's anything that you wanted to discuss today.
I think we've covered quite a bit.
Yeah. Got two things I'm looking forward to later this month.
Boxing Day, one.
Not really. I mean, beyond holidays. But the new Matrix movie comes out on the 22nd.
Yes, it does.
So I'm very interested to see what they're doing with this. Do you have HBO Max?
I do, just because of that.
Does HBO Max work with SharePlay?
I'm not watching the fourth Matrix on SharePlay with you, Mitch.
Not going to happen. And then on the 29th, do you know what's coming the 29th?
Is that the new Game of Thrones?
Maybe, but that's not what I'm talking about. The Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, yeah.
Disney Plus.
I forgot.
So I'm super excited about that. So good stuff.
Yeah. Do you know for the Boba Fett, are they doing one episode a week like they did with everything else, or are they dropping?
I'm not sure. It seems to me like what they like to do with the first season is give you like 3 episodes to kind of get into it, and then they drop them one at a time after that. But we'll see. I'm not 100% sure. So, and I saw what I think was a fake trailer for the season 3 of The Mandalorian. But should be coming out next year. So it'll be interesting to see if they tie those together at all. So,
yeah, I still struggle with keeping those like where in the time frame, in the timeline those things are.
Well, The Mandalorian,
it's right after Return of the Jedi, right?
Season 1 of The Mandalorian is 5 years after Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
So then you can kind of progress from there. It's probably not that far not far of a time span that they've gone so far. I mean, if it's a year or 2 years,
yeah,
like it really hasn't been that long. So, and so the Book of Boba Fett coming in after Jabba's death, supplanting what's his name? The Twi'lek. I can't remember his name off the top of my head now. And I don't have a geek book down here with all the names of
I think his name was Ryan. That's what I think it was.
Ryan. Sure, we'll go with Ryan.
Sounds right.
But
and of course that's R apostrophe I-A-N.
No, R-Y apostrophe A-N.
With the J in there somewhere.
Yeah, you got to get, whatever. Sure. So you would hate the book I'm reading right now if that's the case, because I'm reading the latest Thrawn Ascendancy novel, the Star Wars Thrawn Ascendancy, Lesser Evil, which by the way is amazing. But all the names in that book, I'm not even joking. They're super long, and they have at least two apostrophes in them.
Why? Okay, this makes me so mad. Why? Who decided that in fantasy or sci-fi, you have to put apostrophes that are unnecessary in people's names or their species? It's so dumb. And like, it's become a thing like that everyone does. And I don't understand it. It makes me so annoyed.
So
why did you bring this up? Now I'm,
this is fun. Do you know the Grand Admiral Thrawn?
I know the name. Yeah. I haven't read any of the books.
Okay. So his Chiss name is Mithron Urodo.
That sounds like a disease.
Right at the top of the page there. Can you read that? Can you see it? Is it focusing?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So it's spelled MITTH apostrophe RAW apostrophe NURUODO.
Yeah.
And all the names, all the Chiss names are like that because what it is it's basically like a first, middle, and last name, but it's all slurred together into one name. So, and then you have what they call a mid name, which is what they call you. So Mithron Urodo, Thrawn is his mid name. So that's the name that they like, his nickname or the name that they call you when you're not in trouble. So, but I love these books. These are amazing. Timothy Zahn, probably one of the best Star Wars books writers out of all of them. And the Thrawn character is just amazing. I enjoy the character itself a lot. So anyway,
stupid apostrophes.
I'm really looking forward to and almost fearing how they're going to portray Thrawn in the live action. When I think the rumor is that the Ahsoka series is going to have Thrawn in it. Oh. And I really hope that they do well and do that character well, because it is such a nuanced character and it's going to be so easy to mess up. So anyway, enough Star Wars talk. All right. Well, if you guys, we have listeners. We're not just talking to each other. If y'all want to check out the the podcast, get to know more about us or whatever, check us out at innerdialogue.show. You can also find me at mitchcraig.online. All my socials are available there. I've got my blog there, and there's also a link to innerdialogue.show there. Pretty stripped down website. I'm just kind of starting over with that, but there's a little bit of content up there for you. And Cam Brennan, you can be found at cambrennan.com, correct?
That is correct.
All right. And all your socials are up there as well?
Yes, those are also Cam Brennan.
Yeah. If you want to find Cam Brennan, just look for Cam Brennan.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy.
Amazing how that works, isn't it?
Yeah. Not like me where I'm Mitch Craig on Twitter and Radio Mitch on Instagram. And I kind of have a rule with my names. And I've broken that rule a little bit with Instagram. But Radio Mitch is usually what I use for gaming stuff. And for socials, I typically use Mitch Craig. But unfortunately, Instagram, I think Mitch Craig might have already been taken. So I had to go to Radio Mitch on there. But there you are. All right. Well, Christmas is coming. I'm sure we're going to figure something out for a Christmas episode. And so we should have something out for that. If you don't notice anything in your podcast client for us, well, never fear. We'll be back sometime after that if we don't get you a Christmas episode. So, all right. It's been fun.
It has.
Have a good day, sir.
Toodles.